dude. I'm stoned. Be quiet.
Test 1 2. Test 1 2.
Check.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is The Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve.
Nick Reynolds, Steve Harness, and Cousin Brewski. The Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve.
Take one.
Oh, take two.
Welcome to the program officially. It's The Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve. All Brewski back for another podcast, yo.
Hi, Planet Earth. I hope you're doing well. I know you're not, but I hope you are.
Why do you say that? Planet Earth is in a bad way?
Yeah. You watch the news ever? I don't see anything good going on.
Oh, you're depressed today, dude.
Depressed every day.
What the hell is that, dude? You ever depressed every day?
According to my clinical assessments, my mood tracking, and everything else in life, yeah.
Dude.
Really?
Well,
I mean, wait till you see me undepressed. I'm going to be like bouncing off the walls.
Yeah, but I worry about you if you're depressed every day, dude. You mean all day, 24 hours a day you're depressed?
Only the hours I'm awake. I mean,
okay.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that works.
It's not all 24.
We'll see if we can lift your spirits along with the audience today. Steven, the Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve, Olabruski. Go check out our webpage, thevocalminority.net. You can see funny things happen there.
Sure, funny things, shocking things, things that upset people. It's what goes on there.
Yeah, all of our socials are right there.
What we do.
Okay. Vocalminority.net. And find us on Instagram, find us on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook.
So are we gonna be on Threads anytime soon?
We're gonna talk about that today. So
okay.
We'll make a decision.
Okay.
All right.
Because I don't know if we should be staying on Twitter.
Really?
So we'll talk about it.
Oh, I get it. Yeah.
Rachel signed up for Threads last night. She was we were just sitting there and she was like, I think I'm gonna go on Threads. I was like, well, what are you talking about? She was like, Threads, the Facebook Twitter thing. I was like, oh, that was random. Are you creating an account? And she is. She was excited about it. I'm not on it. Are you personally?
No, nor would I be. I'm not on any social except Facebook, personally.
Well, I thought about joining Threads, but Nick, tell me for a moment you thought that she was going to join some fashion site when she said Threads.
100%. I was like, well, why are you telling me? What are you doing? Because she's a member of a lot of those, so I don't know any difference, dude. Threads, great name, dude.
Yeah.
Yes.
Head north, young man. Head north, and let's head it over to Steve Harness's news desk.
Need to know news. News you need to know. Steve Harness.
Yeah. All right. So since it came up, yes, let's talk about Elon Musk, Twitter, this new thread thing with Zuckerberg. We were talking on the last show about the fact that Zuckerberg was challenged by Elon Musk to a MMA fight or whatever.
Yeah.
Which I didn't think was real at the time and still doesn't seem to be. Not that I wouldn't pay to see it, but I don't think
it's real, dude. I mean, they're both commenting on it. I don't know if it's gonna happen, but they're both commenting on it.
Well, I can comment on aliens. It doesn't make them real. I'd like it to, but doesn't. So, let me just set this story up, and then we could discuss Threads and all that. The swell of enthusiasm around the new app Threads seems to be too much for Elon Musk. The CEO of Twitter has been lashing out at fellow tech mogul Mark Zuckerberg since the release of Meta's microblogging app last Tuesday. But he truly aimed below the belt when he challenged his rival to a literal dick measuring contest on Sunday night.
That's a fact.
Yes. Now, he was already saying that that Twitter needs to sue Facebook for proprietary secrets or whatever garbage. I mean, he's just freaking out, but he literally is challenging him to see who has the bigger penis.
Metaphorically.
No. A literal dick measuring contest.
Do they line up side by side or do they just, wow.
I mean, how immature and ridiculous is this?
Yeah.
I mean, what's wrong with them, dude?
Right.
No, it's Musk, actually. Musk is the one that has suggested it. He's the one that's the teenager.
Yeah, it's not Zuck, maybe? It's Musk. And he's gone off the freaking deep end. Like I said, he already threatened to sue, and Threads hit 100 million users shy of a week, the fastest growing social media app in history. But in part because if you already have Instagram, you can just sign up for Threads and all your followers will transfer over and all that. But So, Elon Musk. I don't know what the hell to do with this guy or Twitter, but I really am starting to think we should just all be done with Twitter.
Twitter ban?
I mean, they're hemorrhaging, followers. They're putting all sorts of restrictions on there. The company that he just bought for $44 billion was recently evaluated at like $20 billion. I mean, it's spiraling out of control. And
most of the money came from the Saudis anyway. It wasn't his money, so
right. But I just don't know how much longer I can keep supporting anything to do with Elon Musk. I mean, I spent years defending the guy as some billionaire genius, Tony Stark, Bruce Wayne type of guy.
Right.
And now he clearly is a conservative tinfoil hat wearing immature moron.
Yeah. I think he realizes that, I don't know if he always was. I think he realizes this gets him attention, and I don't think he's ever had the limelight of attention like that before. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's distinctly possible. So what do we all do with them? Now, I know he invented PayPal. I don't even know, did he sell that thing? I don't know if he still works there or not, but...
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure. I'm mainly, I still use PayPal once in a while, but I'm mainly using Venmo now. I could get PayPal off my list.
See, I use PayPal a decent amount, actually, so that's a bummer. But I saw someone here in town the other day and driving a Tesla, and they had a bumper sticker that said, "I bought this before I knew what his politics were."
That's interesting. I mean, this is the war that we've created, where we're just things each team does. We just start banning them, dude. I mean, everything's getting banned. Ben and Jerry's banned. Budweiser banned.
Well, we've discussed before the fine line between calling for cancellation of things versus just putting your money where your mouth is. And if you think you don't like Ben and Jerry, you don't like Elon Musk, then don't use their products. And if other people join you, then cool.
Well, two things about Ben and Jerry's. Number one, Ben and Jerry don't. Ben and Jerry, I guess what people are upset about is that Ben and Jerry's, or at least Ben and Jerry themselves, who don't own the ice cream company anymore, they sold out to Unilever years ago, which is a conglomerate company based in the UK that also owns like Hellman's mayonnaise and a bunch of other products that are really unrelated to one another.
I did not know that. Good.
Yeah, and so they basically have been speaking out against what Israel is doing to the Palestinians in the West Bank, and because of that, they're saying that Ben and Jerry are anti-Semitic, when one of them in particular is Jewish.
Well, their latest happened just this July 4th. They tweeted out that it's about time that we start, as a country, start thinking about making it good with the indigenous people that we stole so much land from. People are freaking out over that.
So they're being liberal, right? I mean...
they're being caring.
The Palestinian thing, I'm so over that. I mean, everyone's been involved in that for eons, and literally eons. But indigenous people, they're going to try to make good for. So, okay.
Yeah.
Noble thought.
Somebody pointed out that, your headquarters of Ben and Jerry's are on Indian land. So what are we going to do now? Like, are you just talking to us? They're like, we don't own that anymore.
Is that true? In Vermont there? Do you know that cemetery behind the headquarters there?
Say it again?
They have an ice cream cemetery behind the Ben & Jerry's corporate
for all the different flavors that are
no,
over
they
with us.
Don't.
They do. True story. It's all the dead flavors that have come and gone. They have a cemetery.
And some of them, they should be. They keep crap like fish food and Chubby Hubby and Cherry Garcia alive, but then they go and they get rid of really good flavors like Monster cookies.
But you're talking about staples there, dude. Fish food, Cherry Garcia. These are staples that built not only this ice cream company, but built our country, dude.
They're disgusting. Every one of them.
Oh, I love fish food, dude. I love fish food.
It shows their hippie roots, as I think we're talking about here. So.
Isn't there a rule that you can't buy a pint of fish food unless you haven't bathed in a month?
No,
only if you get it with ate the pod and a ounce of mushrooms, then you're allowed to buy as much fish food as you like.
And you have to have dreads. A white person have to have dreads to buy them.
I don't even know that I've had fish food, but
you haven't.
I don't. I really don't know if I have. I don't ever see it. I buy Ben and Jerry's all the time, by the way, and I don't ever see fish food in my local.
Do yourself a favor, buy fish food next time you're stoned and put it in your mouth and let it melt. Okay, you know what I mean? Eat it.
When I'm baked, I usually get half-baked, and the half-baked peanut butter is even better, by the way, just so you know. But,
Cool Britannia was a great flavor. Monster cookies was a great flavor.
I'm a huge fan of a monster cookie, dude.
Some
I
things
get
have
it.
to die. So
Yeah.
I guess.
But anyway, getting back to the original point, cancellation or whatnot. I don't know that I'm like calling for a Twitter boycott, but I'm just wondering at what point do normal people stop using it? Like we were talking about people leaving Florida, in mass because it's getting a little crazy down there.
Yeah.
At what point do people just start leaving Twitter because they realize like this is dumb? And I know a lot of progressive, artists and musicians already have, but will Twitter survive? Should it survive given what Elon Musk has just crapped all over it for no reason, by the way? Twitter was fine before he bought it. Now he destroyed it.
I think it should survive exactly like and in parallel with Truth Social. I think you guys are fine to just sit at that level if that's what you want. Some people are using it. I don't want to use it.
That's the thing, though. Twitter has really become the mainstream Truth Social. I mean, all of the tinfoil hat wearing types are going over there now, and so if that's what Facebook had become, I don't think I'd be on Facebook anymore. I haven't logged into the Vocal Minority Twitter page in a while because I'm just irritated with that whole app.
Yeah.
Now, granted, if we had 1 million followers, I'd probably put up with it, but but we don't.
At least you're honest, dude.
It's kind of like if you have a hot girlfriend and she's just really a pain in the ass. You really hate that she's a pain in the ass, but you put up with it because she's hot.
Right. But we're in the process of growing all these pages, and that one's growing at a slow rate, and it's just, I don't know, it's just irritating me now.
Let's get rid of it, dude. Let's take a pause. Let's go on hiatus at the very least.
Well, at the very least, we should start a Threads page. That was one of my other points here. So let's join the Thread revolution because it's in its infancy, so maybe we can pick up some followers or get more traffic because there's not as much posting going on. But
yeah.
So look for us on Threads, vocal minority loving audience out there, because we're launching it. So
when
to the list,
let's give them a precise date, dude. Brewski want us to join Threads?
Of course, I want you to join Threads.
All right.
I would say at some point after you've heard this, go look for it.
All right, that sounds good.
It'll be another thing I don't have time to get to. So at some point this week,
check back. Somebody check back.
This is the only news you need to know. After all, this is Need to Know News. News you need to know.
Where's Nick?
Enough said.
I'm right here, dude. I'm coming.
Hey, Bruce, turn your mic up just one notch for us, could you please? Do that little knob on the back again.
Who, me?
Yes, you.
Sorry about that. How's this? Am I better?
Better. Cool. All right.
Okay.
Nicholas, proceed.
You guys are going to have to, I'm going to get into this story, but you guys are going to have to judge whether or not we want to hear audio from this individual. I felt like both of these are two stories like back to back that won't take much time, but I have audio if you want to listen to it, but it's going to take a show vote to say yay or nay. All right.
Okay.
Yay.
All right. Alex Jones. You know who he is. He's a big conspiracy theorist and he's host of InfoWars, and he may be clinically insane.
Probably.
Well, yeah.
And I canceled him literally here in Northern California, so you're welcome.
That's right.
A very good friend of your pal, cousin Brewski here, threw a hot coffee on him in downtown Seattle.
I saw it on video, dude.
That is my good pal, Jake Stratton, who, he was downtown, and Alex Jones was running his mouth and came over to my friend Jake, and Jake was just like not having it and just threw the coffee on him.
Well, Jake the Snake, this is for you.
Oh, now you are a champion.
We don't doing Alex Jones. He was on one of our radio stations, booted him. Bruce threw coffee in his face.
Yeah, and I haven't listened to him ever.
Right.
He got lucky, by the way, because after the Boston Marathon bombing, he sent a bunch of people up here to protest and say it was a false flag. And
how'd that go?
The people he sent up here literally got the poop beaten out of them.
Yeah, like a hospital level.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it was ugly.
I remember that. So I have audio for both of these stories. You have to be the judge. Do we want Alex Jones on our podcast, even if it's to mock and denigrate him?
I like audio. I like when you pull audio. So how long is this?
I don't know. We got a few, and we can stop at any time. This first headline is out. All right. Alex Jones threw out this bonkers conspiracy theory that Trump knows about an assassination plot, and he's ready to die. Okay. So
none of us are that lucky.
If people don't get serious and get out of their comfort zones, I think they're going to demonize him, indict him. And then I think they'll blow his airplane up. I really, at a gut level, believe they're going to kill Trump.
Who's this? Trump?
I believe the deep state establishment will murder him. I mean, I believe he's going to steadfast go through all this. He'll be 30 points ahead in the primaries. Nothing's going to stop him. And then they just, he dies of a heart attack because they poison him or they blow his airplane up.
Okay, so this goes on for a while, but you get the gist of what he's talking about.
Dear baby Jesus, if you can answer Alex Jones's prayers, I would really appreciate it.
Suddenly, Steve believes in God, right?
Yes, amen. Thank you.
Oh, dude.
So there is no deep state, just like there's no liberal cabal paying us all. I wish there was. I truly do. I keep trying to sign us up for it, but it's not happening. And, my sweet mother has asked me for years, why doesn't somebody just shoot him? And I'm like, first of all, Mom, I don't think we're supposed to be having this conversation.
Shoot the president?
Right, Trump, yeah.
Wow.
But secondly, who's going to do that? Liberals don't go out shooting world leaders, so keep holding your breath.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Well, we can't wish that on anybody. We'll see what happens.
Obviously not. But, if Alex Jones is saying this to some right-wing conspiracy-loving crowd, one of them may end up trying to make it a self-fulfilling prophecy. And,
he goes on to
favors.
Yeah. I mean, he goes on to say that Trump knows about it and he's fine with it, like he's ready to die. He's got the bone spurs are taken care of. He is brave now. He knows about this and he's ready to die for his country.
I think the funniest thing he says was that Trump could possibly be 30 points ahead in the polling.
I mean, it is. It's just a fairy tale.
The poll taken at Mar-a-Lago, maybe.
Right. Yeah.
And maybe amongst the Republicans, but not amongst sane voters in this country.
Good
yeah.
grief. That's
what? I'll tell you what. Right now, they're going to murder Trump. I'm telling you right now. That's what they're going to do. They're going to shoot his plane right out of the sky.
They're already setting up for, this is how they do it. They say, oh, if this goes bad, this is what was going to happen, or this is what's happening,
Well, far be it from us to interfere in the natural course of things then, Mr. Jones. So.
Yeah.
In the same week, Alex Jones begs for God to destroy the earth for the children. He has become compassionate and loving about the children, so he prays to God to destroy this earth sooner than later for the children.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Do we have audio?
And we also have to talk to the establishment and just say, listen, you've lost, and we'll give you abstention. You can go and take some of your stolen money. People say, oh, don't be a wimp. We want vengeance. No, you look at how wars get ended properly, because you mark them, you expose them. By mark them in the media that they're bad, and then you destroy their name politically and culturally, and then you let them go, because they will blow stuff. They will blow the planet up.
Please blow the planet up for the children.
Somebody please think of the children.
Yeah, blow this earth up already. What the hell?
Yeah, it's like Marvin the Martian. Remember when he was going to blow up the earth on the Bugs Bunny cartoons?
Yes. We got to keep moving past this because this all ties in, that story ties in with the last point about this. I don't know if any of you have heard about the movie release of Sound of Freedom.
No.
Brewski. All right. This is a movie that hit theaters. I believe, when do movies come out? Friday?
Sure. Thursday nights, technically, but yeah.
All right, Thursday. This one, it just came out this past week, all right? Sound of Freedom. It's a movie put together about child trafficking, and it's done...
Serious thing, or?
Yes.
Now you said I have heard about this.
That's the new Pixar movie, right?
Yeah. It's called Koi Story. Listen, they have bunch of conservative money behind this, conservative filmmakers, and I guess there is some sort of MAGA overtone to all of this about how and I don't know if that's the only point, obviously. I mean, there may be some good things to it, but all the conservatives are going to see this. Internet exploded over the weekend with them saying, oh, we came to the movie theater and it's 105 degrees outside. The one showing our movie has no air conditioning in it. Well, then it starts to take off, and it appears that AMC, this is a conspiracy theory, mind you.
Right.
all
Clearly.
across the nation doesn't really want people to enjoy or like this movie because of its conservative ties. So they're turning the air conditioning off in the theaters that are showing it.
Come on.
You walk out and they're like, you walk out into the lobby and, ice cold. You walk back into the theater and people are just like sweating. I saw a guy pass out. Like, I mean,
freaking liberal Spider-Man movies, cold as hell. But over here, we're sweating our loving balls off.
And
that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean it's absolutely nuts. Well, who is behind this movie with the biggest star power is none other than Mel Gibson. He comes out, has ties to this movie.
Sugar Tits himself.
This is sounding less and less like a real movie then to me. Mega overtones, Mel Gibson's involved.
So then Dana White comes out and he releases this morning, and I feel like not only, well, I'll tell my thoughts after we hear the audio.
Hey everybody, I'm Dana White. There's a new movie out called The Sound of Freedom, and it's about human trafficking. More importantly, the trafficking of children. This is a disgusting, horrific issue that's happening all around the world, and it's not getting better, it's getting worse. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give any of my UFC employees that want to see this movie free tickets to go see. And I would like to encourage other executives to do the same at their company. Here's Mel Gibson with some more information on The Sound of Freedom.
One of the most disturbing problems in our world today is human trafficking, and particularly the trafficking of children. Now, the first step in eradicating this crime is awareness. Go see Sound of Freedom.
That was great info that Mel provided, right? So
the first step is awareness. There's probably some other legal steps that should be taken there, but
now here's Mel Gibson with more technical information about human trafficking. Like, go see the movie.
Right. Unless they're Jewish kids, then who cares? Right?
Yeah. So first of all, hey, Dana White, this has a little smell of indoctrination to me. Like,
First of all,
I'm going to pay
Dana
for
White.
all my employees to go see it.
Right.
And then, hey, Dana White, like, I don't know. Hey, Brewski, you find out how much money Dana White is worth. You're going to give everyone a free movie ticket?
Dana White actually made a ton of money because they sold the UFC.
That's what I mean, dude.
Him and the Fertitta brothers sold the UFC. I'll look it up for you real quick here. 1 second.
Yeah,
I didn't know who Dana White was, but okay, so he's the UFC guy.
Yeah, he was the president of the UFC.
So the parent company Zuffa was sold in 2016 for $4.25 billion.
Billion. So, yeah, thanks for the movie ticket, dude.
Why don't you take $1 billion, go on the black market, buy all those kids, and set them free?
Yeah.
He's
got the money to save them, dude.
Right. Technically, he is worth himself personally $500 million.
Jeez.
He could buy half the kids back then. So,
listen,
I don't know how child molestation and trafficking has become some right-wing talking point against liberals. I think it started with this whole Pizzagate crap that we were tracking.
Actually, it goes back to Hollywood, way back, Steve. They've been claiming that it's liberals in Hollywood that have been grooming children for decades.
Yeah, but it's really kicked into high gear these last 10 years here. And this movie sounds like phony baloney conservative garbage. Are you sticking by your original statement that this is a real movie?
I mean, this is what I'm saying. It was released as a real movie, dude. I'm not giving my opinion on it. I don't know.
Anything can be released.
Listen, dude, it's in theaters nationwide. The way that they put this movie out is as it's real. That's what I'm saying.
Sure. Okay.
So it's a movie.
I get it's a real movie. Like, you can go sit in the theater and watch it. But is it,
could it be propaganda? Is that your question?
Yeah.
Yes, it could be for sure. I don't know, but and you guys aren't doing anything to help yourself out. I mean, movie theaters are hot, and here's Mel Gibson. You guys remember Mel Gibson's audio tape and the way he talks to women,
right? And his anti-Jewish rants.
Yes,
but let's also remember, because I'm looking at the Washington Post right now, the star of this movie is Jim Caviezel.
Yes.
And he actually is tied to the QAnon conspiracy. And actually, there's a whole lot of this movie that has all QAnon connections in it as well.
Yeah, I'm calling garbage. And by the way, who's like pro human trafficking? What's their inference that we're all just okay with it? You know?
I think their inference is that we're okay. We're just going to stand back. But I mean, hey, listen. The most you're doing is it starts with awareness. You're going to see a movie. Come on,
aware.
Right
Now what?
Nick, is it me or did they make it sound like that this was a documentary?
Yes. Yeah.
It's not. It's actually, it says it's an American action thriller, gritty, violent, and hopeful, in which this character, last name Ballard, played by Jim Caviezel, fights to save abducted children in the Colombian jungle.
Every piece of media that I've seen on it, which is probably 4 or 5, is touting it. This is a chance for you to learn. It's a documentary type thing.
Yeah. Where are you hearing about this?
is-
I've not heard of this anywhere.
So it's based on the life of this guy who left the Department of Homeland Security 10 years ago and founded a group that works with local police to catch child sex traffickers in other countries.
If somebody learns something from it that's positive, like how to get children out of sex trafficking, great. But this doesn't sound like a.
What are you supposed to learn? What can somebody tell me about my daily life that I could somehow stop child sex trafficking? You know.
All you can do, and this is honest, is either volunteer. I mean, I guess not all you can do, but these are the things you could do. You could volunteer for an organization that fights human trafficking. There's a few good ones. Or you could donate monthly. Unless you're putting on a bulletproof vest and like running to wherever to try and track this down, those are the options.
Yeah. Well, see something, say something. That applies to everything.
So we were conservatives when Rush Limbaugh was traveling to the Dominican Republic to have sex with underage prostitutes while he used Viagra that wasn't prescribed to him. Where were they then?
Yeah, I mean, hypocrisy. I get it.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And then what about
where are they on the Catholic Church scandals? Where are
Matt
they?
Gates? Matt Gates with the underage teenagers. And then what about recently a judge in Utah said that the Mormon church does not have to, by law at all, have to disclose whether there's any sexual abuse within their church.
Yeah. This is my point. Like, there's a million things going on.
Yeah.
I don't know. Dottie is very concerned about human trafficking as well, and I get that it's a real thing and it's going on, but it seems to be more,
what do you mean she's worried about it?
There's I don't know if I call them rumors or what it is, but of homes in residential areas in her community where this kind of thing is going on. But it's with like teenage women though. It's not like 6-year-old boys or whatever. But I mean, listen, human trafficking is a real thing. I get it.
Sure.
Going on. But what am I supposed to be doing about it?
I told you already, dude.
Well, okay, so I volunteer for an organization. What are they going to have me doing?
Or write a check, dude. $5 a month, whatever. I mean,
where's the money going for?
It's Ashton Kutcher's got a great organization that he goes and they get kids out of countries. You fund these projects.
Say, that's an international campaign he's doing. You're talking about like in my community. What the hell am I supposed to be doing to fight human trafficking?
Donate to Save the Children. Just keep an eye on your kids, dude. I mean, that's where you can start, right?
So there, I'm done. I see my kids.
Alrighty then.
Need to know news.
I said, oh Lord Jesus, it's a fire.
News you need to know.
I got bronchitis. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Making Dottie feel safe, dude. Steve has got this under control, Dottie.
I'm patrolling the neighborhood, man. I'm looking for kids that are just free range, making sure they don't get snagged. I mean,
now, speaking of patrolling, Steve, this is a story that hit here in my home area, and this is a story I found from Fox 2, KTVU, Lake Tahoe, California. A robot is hard at work cleaning up beaches along the shores of Lake Tahoe.
Yes,
it's the robot from the Jetsons, dude. It's Rosie.
The computerized custodian moves at about 2 miles an hour and is roughly the size of a riding lawnmower. Now, I can tell you here on the East Coast, here just south on the Cape Cod there, the beaches were disgusting after July 4th.
Yes.
And Surfrider Foundation has put out a story saying that July 5th every year is always Dirty Beach Day because it's the dirtiest, it's the the biggest cleanup day on beaches around the country.
Yeah.
What did you see in Tahoe?
People are disgusting frickin' pigs. I do not understand it. This is not a new phenomenon. This has been going on for years around here, but it's certainly got.
It's a phenomenon.
Indeed. The radio station Nick and I work at, we do the music for the gigantic fireworks show here. It's the largest one on the West Coast. It's a big deal. People are all over the beaches, and every July 5th, it looks like just a dump, a recycling yard. I mean, there is garbage everywhere. And
Yes.
I don't know who you disgusting effing pigs are that you can't just simply pick up after yourselves.
Yeah.
And it's not even that the dumpster's overflowing, it's the beach. They just leave stuff everywhere. And our station has had to get involved because this turned into a lawsuit a few years ago in all these beach cleanup days. And the robot you're talking about is a real thing. It's a cool thing. It's a little... Yeah, like you said, the size of a riding lawnmower. It's kind of got this, tank tread bulldozer thing, and it's sucking.
Yeah, I'm seeing that from the photos. Yeah,
thousands and thousands of pounds. I mean, one beach alone had 8,500 pounds of garbage.
Wow.
That's one beach.
Well, why can't they drag them?
Drag what? The beach? That's basically what this robot's doing.
Yeah, but let's get some more action out there. Buy a few of these, draggers just to pull behind ATVs or cars and just
they're
drag
also
these
sucking up kids and selling them into human trafficking. So it's it's crossing over problems. Really.
Yeah, but Nick, let's just start where it's supposed to start, and this goes to what Steve said: pick up your damn trash.
Right,
don't be a pig.
Yeah, I preach it. Believe me, Brewski, I preach it. Pack it in, pack it out. Don't be an idiot.
Yeah.
I get it, but it's not working. So, yeah, I mean, are you going to lecture these people into acting like civilized humans?
I've been trying. It's clearly not working. I do tourist guilt trips on the radio here. And, I mean, obviously, it's a problem that doesn't even need to be a problem. But the robots, the beach cleanup days, we get a whole bunch of volunteers out there. We skim the water. The fireworks we shoot off, which are the least of the pollution, dissolve in water. And, I always kind of joke that the beaches are cleaner on July 6th than they were on July 3rd because of the efforts we all go through. But 80% of it is not from the fireworks. It's from the disgusting pigs.
The only thing that's going to change it, dude, is why aren't we finding them? Writing tickets.
That's a great question. I mean, it's probably lack of resources. Some of these beaches are public, and we only have so many forest rangers, and they can't be running around just ticketing left and right. And plus, people are sitting at these beaches all day long. The show ends, and everyone just mass exodus.
Yeah.
So you're not littering when you're sitting there and it's surrounding you. That's just your beach setup, your picnic. But then they just all leave at once. Literally 100,000 people just get up and leave, and then all the garbage is there. So I'm not sure how I suppose you could ticket some people, but not a lot. And
why don't you get the Boy Scout troops out there to just berate people who are not being kind to Mother Earth?
They've all been kidnapped and sold into human trafficking.
That's right. We're having a huge problem, dude.
Right.
You're so woke.
Yeah, right, man. No, it's a serious freaking problem. It's disgusting. And tourists, I live in a tourist community, and I get it. You're part of our economy. It's a beautiful spot I live in. We want visitors, kind of like the Cape in Boston, or the East Coast there and all that. I get tourist areas. It's a vital necessity for the economy and all that stuff. But you morons are making the problem worse than it needs to be. And I'm also sick of morons that are road raging on our roadways around here. I had a hilarious road rage incident coming home from the fireworks on the 4th of July, where I'm on a road that the speed limit's like 40 miles an hour, and there's just nothing but cars in front of me. I mean, everyone's leaving. And this idiot behind me, Lexus of Concord, Bayer.
Oh, boy.
He goes flying around me on a double yellow into a blind corner where a traffic light is, where I knew it was going to be a red light. But he goes flying around me to simply get in between me and the car in front of me. Like there was nowhere else to go. So he
Slow and
rages.
steady, dude.
Yeah, gets in front of me, and then we get on the main road where we have a roundabout here. And the roundabout is hilarious because there's the actual roundabout where you can go in the middle and circle and take whatever exit you want.
Yeah.
But for the intelligent folks, and if you read the sign going into it, there's a bypass lane. And the bypass lane is always faster than the roundabout. So this moron from Concord speeds, double passes, gets in front of me. We get to the roundabout. He goes in the roundabout. I take the bypass lane, and I end up in front of him on the other side of the roundabout.
Fantastic.
So then he's raging at me again. And I mean, that kind of stuff is almost comical because I was in a mellow place to just let it go. But in a more serious note, we had an accident up here last week, a head-on collision on a road that was in a probably 35-mile-an-hour speed limit. And it was a Subaru versus a Tesla. The Tesla, I guarantee, is out of town. People up here don't drive Teslas. They're too low clearance. They don't survive winters.
Right.
And I know the guy's it wasn't from here. But the Subaru was a local. And for several days, none of us knew who the local was. They wouldn't release the information through the police press reports or anything. And we found out a couple of days ago. It was an 18-year-old kid that just graduated from high school. A friend of my daughter, and a bunch of people in this community know this kid. 18 years old, just graduated, got hit head on by somebody in way too big of a hurry driving their Tesla and killed this kid.
Wow.
And there's just no need for any of this. Polluting the beaches, road raging, all of this stuff. This is a small tourist town. Chill the F out already.
Yeah, dude, people, I mean, and this is not an isolated incident. I mean, I've been there for the 4th of July before and coming home, fighting all that traffic that's already backed up and seeing bad accidents myself. I mean, this happens all the time.
I always tell people, like, our roads aren't meant for that many people. Don't block intersections. Look for pedestrians. Look for bicycles. I mean, but it doesn't work.
And you know what? We talk about the tourist town in the summertime. I mean, let's talk about the tourist town in the snow season. That people don't realize that. I mean, this is serious business. Like, if you're not set up for it mechanically, and you don't know how to drive in it, you shouldn't be here, dude. You just shouldn't.
Yeah, I hate to keep railing on Tesla. Seems to be a theme of today's show. But if you drive a Tesla, don't effing come up here because we all know you're not from here and you keep causing problems. Over the winter, I live in a neighborhood that has no outlet. It's basically a dead-end street. I mean, there's a couple streets off of it, but there's only one way in and out.
Yep.
And somebody who drove a Tesla spun out in the middle of the road near the main entrance. They blocked the road, which means the snowplow can't come. So our entire neighborhood got gridlocked for days where there was no snowplow. None of us could get out. We were all hiking down to the grocery store. And eventually I met the person that owned the Tesla. And they were like, yeah, no, I live here. I own the home up the hill. And I'm like, you live here and you drive a Tesla? They're like, well, okay, it's a second home. We live in the Bay Area. And we're up here for the weekend.
Yeah.
You don't freaking live here. So,
yeah. You know, sometimes it's the people who drive an SUV or drive a crossover who think that because that they're all-wheel drive that they can drive through snow no problem whatsoever, and they're more dangerous than the people who aren't equipped for it mechanically because they have that
Superman complex, right?
Yeah, they think I'm fine. I can just power right through. It's going to be no problem. But it's a big problem. I saw it when I first moved to Seattle into the drive of the snow. People spinning out but they're driving all-wheel drives. Why? You know what I mean? They're like, I can get through it. No, you can't because you don't know how to drive in it.
Yeah.
Tremendous play by Brewski.
It is fair. I guess the theme is respect the town you're in, whether you live there or not. Don't litter. Don't drive like a moron. Like, understand that people actually live in this community. And stop blocking up residential streets just because your app tells you to.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to get 2 minutes ahead. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
We have a robot cleaning our beach. Pretty cool. Cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
This is Need to Know News. News you need to know.
I need to know.
He needs to know, and he needs to know now.
Before we meet, there's some news you need to know about.
I need to know. I need to know now.
Needed to know.
Need to know.
I need some news. I need some news.
The news needs to come from me.
The news has come.
Best news I've heard all day.
Okay, everybody, time to shut up and listen. This is Need to Know News. News you need to know.
News, 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 news.
This is for you.
Champion.
Nick's been editing, everyone. Nice job.
Yeah, yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Are you going here or am I? Who's going here?
It's your turn.
Okay, good. Back onto the theme of protecting the children. Apparently, I need to go have a talk with my son. I've stepped into it apparently here.
Why?
My
You
kid
found
came to me.
condoms?
No, that's
condoms.
That talk's coming as well.
All right.
But not today. No, Crosby came to me talking to me about this new energy drink, Prime Energy. You guys know about it?
Prime Energy. No.
It's a new energy drink. The most famous spokesperson is Logan Paul. And it's supposed to be a Red Bull, a Monster competitor, and all the kids love it. It's a huge thing on the interwebs because Logan Paul's got a younger audience, and Cross came to me and asked if he could try the new Prime Energy, and we already had a discussion about moderation and how much caffeine exactly is in that thing, but I don't think I was well informed because U.S. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer has called on regulators to investigate a new energy drink promoted by Logan Paul. Mr. Schumer alleges the drink is being targeted at children despite its insanely high caffeine count and despite the fact, I didn't look at this, each drink carries a warning stating it is not recommended for kids under the age of 18. Prime Energy contains 200 milligrams of caffeine per can, which is double what Red Bull has in it. It's the equivalent of 6 cans of Coke.
Wow. One can is 6 cans of Coke. These energy drinks, they have a history of killing kids, already. I mean, this is crazy.
He and I were having this chat. I was like, Google how much is in like a venti mocha or something. And I don't know. His numbers were equivalent to Prime, so I felt like I didn't have any room to stand on. But I'm also 47 and he's 14.
That's all you need, dude. I mean, come on. You've got a solid heart, dude. Your heart's beating and everything's good.
Soon to be 14 anyways. But
so, yeah, a venti mocha in the United States has 180 milligrams of caffeine.
How much? 100 even?
180.
180. See, that's what he told me too. And I was like, oh, then it's not too far off 200 milligrams, but okay.
Okay, but now...
That means Nick's quad shot has like 240 or something then?
Well, but so in it says global caffeine. So outside of the United States, a venti has 255 milligrams.
America would have been number one. Stronger in Italy and other places, Turkey. I mean, to find out, Brewski, if you could please, how much a Red Bull has in it.
It's actually in this article. Red Bulls have 80 milligrams. Prime Energy has 200. Monster has 160. Nas has 160. Rockstar has 300 milligrams. Holy crap.
Holy.
And Coca-Cola has 32 milligrams. That sounds like a health drink now.
Yeah, right. Brewski's happy about that.
Yeah. Well, don't you guys remember when we used to get free Rockstars at the Buzz? They even had the refrigerator and everything, and they'd come in, they'd restock it and that sort of thing.
And back in those days, I was gonna say I tried it once. My teeth started hurting immediately.
Oh yeah, it's got so much sugar, and talking about radioactive, it just like was neon green or yellow. I mean,
I dumped out so many of those because people would open them up in the producer studio where Nick's desk used to be, and then they'd sit there and they'd like take one sip, and then they didn't like it and they'd set it down, and then they'd be littered all over the desk between Nick and Marissa's desks, and I'd have to clean them up all the time.
Yeah. Wow. They're really gross, I find. And I was a big Mountain Dew fan forever, but Mountain Dew has like 50 or 60 milligrams. I mean, that's nothing. So So, yeah, and I didn't realize the can specifically said don't give it to kids under the age of 18. So
yeah, you tell Cross he's going to have to hold off until there's further
testing.
Yeah, that's right, Crosby.
Yeah, exactly. So
got to do some testing.
Schumer's asking the FDA to investigate it. So, but it's weird though that Monster has 300 milligrams. So why wouldn't they investigate it too? So.
Should get rid of that one too. I mean, it's killed people, dude. And I realize Coca-Cola has killed people because of the diabetes, but
that's a slow death, though.
Excessive. Yeah. I mean, this can kill you, stop your heart.
Well, the other thing, too, as somebody with a heart condition, and I'm not able to drink any of those big caffeine drinks or anything like that. For me, it's not so much the caffeine that gets my heart going. It's the ginseng and the guarana and some of the other things that they put in there. That's the thing that really gets my heart racing, and not in a good way.
Can you do Coke, Mountain Dew, and you like soda stuff like that, or is that too much?
I can drink Coke and Mountain Dew, no problem.
Drink Coke caffeine, all day long, dude.
No, I don't. I drink one Coke a day now. One 20-ounce bottle.
And do you drink it quickly, or do you spread it out throughout the day?
It depends. If I'm in the car working, then it's all throughout my 12-hour shift.
Yeah, you drink Coke all day, dude.
Come on. It's one 20-ounce bottle, dude.
You're drinking Coke all day. I think we figured it out.
That, and then I have 2 huge waters on a 12-hour shift.
Balance it out a little bit.
I mean, I'm sort of ridiculing energy drinks, but yeah, Nick and I are both literally sitting here drinking coffee while we're like, Monster Energy, all that caffeine, what a bunch of...
Yeah, but it's all the other crap they throw in those that they mix with the caffeine, and it becomes this toxic brew,
Yeah.
Well, and as we learned on last week's episode, the amount of caffeine in coffee doesn't actually matter as far as the euphoric feeling you get, according to research where people were MRI drinking their coffee. They varied the amounts of caffeine, and it didn't change their craving for the coffee and the first sip feeling and all that stuff. So
Right.
So it might all be a mind game anyways.
I was going to tell you guys when we were talking about that last week that I have a friend in Seattle who goes to his particular coffee shop up on the hill, and he gets what's called a shot in the dark, which is a drip coffee with 4 shots of espresso thrown into it.
All right.
Is an espresso just one shot of caffeine, Nick? I'm confused on how espresso even works.
Yeah.
Well, so then that's what you're getting when you get a quad shot. You're getting 4 espresso, basically.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah. Yeah.
Americano, Nick, or just straight?
Well, I usually drink a latte with 4 shots of coffee, or espresso in it. So.
Espresso is a small amount of liquid with a ton of caffeine. You can put the same amount of caffeine in more liquid, and it's the same amount of caffeine.
Still the same as if I was to drink it straight. But yeah, I don't know. I drink a lot of coffee, dude. That's the least of my worries, dude. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's the least of my worries.
Well, this may be a slippery slope given the caffeine quantities in other drinks, but I'll be curious to see where this goes. And yeah, apparently need to go talk to my kid.
Did you know those little Cuban coffees, un cafecito?
Oh, yes.
Never had one, but I'm aware of the concept.
Yeah, but they're those little tiny cups of coffee.
Yeah.
You got to put your pinky up.
Yeah, 95 milligrams of caffeine in that little tiny cup.
Wow.
I bought a Turkish coffee machine maker. Let's find out about that, Brewski. Find out the caffeine total of a Turkish coffee. This is a coffee, Steve. That it looks like about a 6-pack of beer turned up on its side. That's about how big the machine is. It's got a little carafe that you put in with just a little bit of water, and then you put the powdered Turkish coffee right there into it, and this machine makes it all up for you. And the grounds about 85% disintegrate, but it still keeps those grounds in the bottom of it very strong. What is it, Brewski?
A single cup of Turkish coffee generally has around 165 milligrams of caffeine in it.
Yeah, very strong. And it's in about a quarter cup of liquid, so maybe just a half of your coffee cup would be full.
Wow. So it's close to espresso, basically, right?
Yeah, a little more.
It's concentrated, right? It's less liquid, more caffeine.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. We're going to die somehow, so enjoy it.
Well, the world is going to hell in a handbasket quickly. So take care of your son, please.
Need to know news. News you need to know.
A lot of times in this world we live in, they say that all bad things come in 3s. Have you heard that before?
I've heard it. I don't know what the credence is, but I've certainly heard it. They say, deaths come in 3. It's because you stop counting at 3.
That's probably right. Yeah, then you just get numb to it after 3.
Otherwise, it'd be 3 billion at this point or whatever.
Yeah. I think they mean it's 3, and then before it takes a break. They seem to come in 3s.
That's because you mentally take a break. If you wait, it'll be 4.
Well, you know what it also could be? Death might have decided to stop for a latte.
Right. They're all drinking Prime and having Turkish coffee all the time. So.
Yeah, they come around, they take 3 people away, and they're like, okay, coffee break time. Let's go.
Conspiracy. The deep death state.
My point is, gentlemen, that in this series of 3, it seems to be affecting the rock and roll community. Did you see Britney Spears got slapped in the face?
By herself?
No, not by herself.
Yes, she did. What happened was she ran up on Victor Wembanyama, and his security basically pushed her away. And when she was smacking his back, security hit her hand. It was her own hand that smacked her in the face.
Did you see the video?
I read the headline and stopped there. So if you guys have more knowledge on it, let me know.
And also, who the hell does she think she is that she can just go run up on Wemby like that? I
haven't even told the story yet, dude. She ran up to him because she thought she was famous enough to run up to another famous person and say hello. Like, hey,
She's not on his
a big
level.
fan.
Do you know how many celebrities I've seen
Are you
at Lakers?
kidding me?
I've seen so many celebrities at LA Laker games where some other celebrity walks up to, I saw Will Ferrell do this recently. Some other celebrity walks up to Will Ferrell and he has a look on his face of like, why is some person coming up to me? And then they make eye contact. He's like, oh, hey, it's Nas. Oh, hey, nice to meet you. You know?
Right. So
yeah. There is some level of celebrities are allowed to go harass other celebrities, but they have
in a club.
No.
But here's the thing, though. Victor Wembanyama is 19 years old.
Right.
He doesn't really know who Britney Spears is.
Sure.
Like when when she was big, he was like maybe a toddler. You know what I mean? He's 19 years old. So now you've got some crazy blonde, and she probably sounded like a screeching harpy, like,
I'm sure she was excited, yeah.
And in fairness, Britney always tells people to hit her one more time.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, she has said that, right?
Thank you.
So
all
anyway,
right. Well, Brewski, sorry to hear your frustrations about Britney. Let's move on to someone.
Hold on. What was the point of this?
No, finish the story.
Did it happen or didn't happen? I don't know. Where are we going with this?
It did happen. What do you mean? There's video.
I'm
of it.
uninformed. Inform me. This is news I need.
She was running up behind him to say hello, went to tap him on the shoulder because he was walking away from her. And his security guard threw up his hand, and it hit her hand, and she smacked herself in the face.
Gotcha.
So now the big discussion is exactly what Brisky's discussing. Is Britney Spears a big enough star to be able to go up to another star and just say hello, touch them without consent?
No.
Maybe he knows exactly who Britney is, and that's why they slapped her. I mean, she's kind of gone off the deep end of late, right?
Well, I mean, she's not the Britney that we grew up with. She's not the young, little thing. Right. She finally got out of the control of her father, and now she's posting on TikTok in some very bikinis that tell great stories. I mean, she's a different girl now, for sure.
I have seen some of those pictures. Bruce's always talking about naked celebrities.
Best. She's a D- celebrity at best.
What are you talking about, dude? Britney's
D-
or B?
Yeah. No, D as in dog. Yes.
No,
D-.
You're saying you don't like her, and I understand
no,
that.
No.
That's
I'm
not
talking
true.
About, no, I'm not talking about that part of it. I'm talking because I still think she's hot and everything like that. But I'm talking about as far as fame goes, she's nowhere near what she was. Nowhere near it.
Well, she's more irrelevant than she is now. But I mean, when she was under control of her father, what do you call that? A conservatorship?
Yeah, the same Britney thing. I mean, that's why she's relevant nowadays.
Well, yeah, I mean the world, not the country, the world blew up over that whole thing, and were responsible for her getting out of that. I mean, she's still relevant to a generation.
Okay,
I'd
you know
say
what?
She's a B- celebrity, but not a D-.
You know what? They also got upset about Lindsay Lohan having to go to rehab, but that doesn't mean that she's famous either.
No, I mean that's we're talking apples and oranges. Britney and who? Lindsay? Come on, dude. She's been in rehab 80 times. It's old news.
But Nick, Britney Spears is not relevant other than being crazy. She's not.
Not to you, dude. That's what I'm saying. Not to you, not to me.
But your point, you just made it, though. She's not relevant except for her craziness. That is why she's relevant, because she's crazy.
Not,
and she's
not to an NBA player that was just drafted #1 overall, who's 19 years old, who doesn't know who she is.
They don't know who she is, period, right? No one actually turned and looked at her and was like, "Oh, this is Britney Spears," and it was just some person. They didn't even.
Yeah, exactly. But then when he was told who it was, you would have thought he would have been like, "Oh, geez, if I had known." But he was just like, "What? No, he didn't know who she was."
Yeah. Christina Aguilera fan. I get it.
Yeah. That's a big battle. Okay, so
what a
that's
slap in the face. I tell you.
Yeah, what a slap in the face. That's what happened to Britney. Number 2 of this series of 3 is Madonna is thrown in the hospital as she's fighting a major infection in her body.
Yeah, she's out now, actually, as of today. But yeah.
Yes, she made it out, and she says she's grateful because they thought there was a chance she could die.
Mm-hmm. That would have made my vintage Playboy of her worth more money. So someday.
Now she is still very famous.
That's debatable. I mean, really?
She is.
When's the last time she had a hit?
It doesn't matter, but you just say her name and right away people know where. And people across all different generations of people know. You know what I mean?
I mean, my mom knows who Britney Spears is. So if we're going on name recognition, but again, that was the point of that.
But then what a name that. But I mean, they know more. I think more people know who Madonna is than they do Britney Spears.
Potentially. I mean, Madonna's iconic, sure, but she hasn't been relevant in years. And
She had a big arena tour scheduled, and they was sold out all over the United States.
Yeah, so is Winger. I get it.
No, Winger's not playing. Winger's not playing the Boston Garden. Winger's playing Wally's Pub up at Hampton Beach for 500 people. And now, granted, I love Kip Winger and the rest of those guys, but they're not playing the Garden.
Yeah, and he's looking more feminine than Madonna is, but yeah.
I don't even know why it's a popularity contest. It's just news stories about
Talking
what
about
happened
relevance.
to people.
Should we care? That's all.
Listen, do you care?
My final point, though, I just want to say, I saw a picture of her today post-hospital. She actually looks pretty decent because we saw these weird bloated pictures of her a few weeks back where she looked unrecognizable. I saw the picture today. I'm like, man, rehab or hospital did her good. She looks all right.
I will, ahead of this conversation, I will apologize to women listening to this program because I will start to dissect the looks of an older woman.
Right.
And I'm not being judgmental here. I'm wondering, all right, Madonna, when you say she looked pretty good, please deconstruct that. What do you mean? Look pretty good for a 60-year-old or just like, woo, yeah, she's still got it.
I'd bang her. That's what it means. Just like Martha Stewart, you know. I mean, are you still bangable? That's the question. And I only bring up her looks because that became a big story a month or two back. We all saw these weird bloated pictures, and everyone was criticizing how she looks. And I'm just saying now she looks like she's recovered from the bloatiness or whatever.
She's healthy.
A relative term for Madonna.
Remember those pictures Steve was talking about? She had very like her eyes were very narrow and slit like.
Yeah.
And her lips were all kind of pushed together, and she looked like she'd been sucking on lemons.
She's got an infection, dude. I mean, it almost killed her.
No, Nick, this is before the infection.
I understand. It was the start of the infection.
Oh, okay.
I mean, her body was rejecting something.
That's what I'm legitimately wondering. Is that why she looks so weird? Because she was about to fall in her face from being, so sick. So
right. Yeah. Okay. Are you done with Madonna?
I guess, yeah.
All right.
I was done with her in '87 after I closed that Playboy. You know what I mean?
Do you really have the Madonna Playboy?
I don't still have it, but I did back in the day. My dad had a subscription. I stole the whole magazine because it was so hyped. Madonna.
Okay. Well, good. Now I have a boner.
So Britney, Madonna. And none of these deaths, but okay, what do we got? What's the third?
This is a true phenomenon that's happening right now with artists, not only rock and roll artists, but comedians, button poetry performers. I mean, this is just really across the boards. What?
Taking a shot to the face?
Poetry? Who are we talking about?
Well, listen, dude, I'm here to tell you. These are artists. These are people doing live performances that are getting hit in the face by things being thrown from the crowd.
I was right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know why this is 3, but okay, I'm going to leave that thing aside. I don't understand. I mean, it's a commentary, I guess, on society right now that you want to go viral on TikTok or whatever for hitting Justin Bieber in the face, which I understand the urge with some artists, but you're paying to go to a concert. You're supposed to respect that artist to some extent. I cannot believe this thing going on where, people are just chucking stuff at artists to try to hit them.
Yeah, and most recently, Harry Styles and Drake are among the artists that the items have been thrown at mid-show. So they're not only doing it to the Britney Spears, they're doing it to, icons up on stage right now.
It's a viral thing. They want video of them. Like, look, I hit Harry Styles in the face with a bag of Skittles or whatever.
Yuck.
Yeah. I mean, how disrespectful is that in general, but certainly to the artists that you're there to see. I can't wrap my head around that one.
Yeah, no, I don't get it at all. But it makes me wonder, will every concert we go to from here on out be performed like the live music on Roadhouse was? Just behind like chicken wire.
Or like when you go to the grocery store, the bank nowadays, like a plexiglass wall in between all of us.
Yeah. I mean, I'm honest about that. Like they're going to have to, I wouldn't want to get on stage if this is the new trend. I'd be like, screw that.
Totally. Or you're going to have such a pit between you and the audience, so that no one could possibly hit you from that far away. But it's crazy. And I would not blame artists at all if they started doing barriers like that. They can't stop touring. It's where artists make all their money at. It's not record sales. So, I mean, but I just, can't wrap my head around it. So.
Just concerts in general, dude. For Labor Day weekend, I'm going to the Labor Dave. It's just 3 nights of Dave Matthews at the Gorge.
Right.
And coming off this Gorge shooting that happened, 2-3 weeks ago now, I think it was.
Not aware.
The Gorge.
I know what the Gorge is. What was the shooting?
Yeah, there was.
Yeah, we reported on it.
Refresh my memory.
See, you've become too
I must
numb
not
to
have
all
realized
of
it
these, dude.
I must not have realized it was at the Gorge. So.
Yeah, they were at the campground of the Gorge. Somebody came out with a weapon and shot, I think, 4 or 5 people, killed one, maybe 2 has died now. I'm not exactly sure. But there were
Talked about
deaths.
this on the show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez. Sorry, guys. I tuned out, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to me, when I saw that story, I asked, and Nick and I talked, we talked about it on the air. We were just like, wow. I mean, of all places for there to be a shooting at the campground at the Gorge.
Who was the artist playing?
It was. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it wasn't somebody that.
If you can find it, Brewski.
I'm doing it right now.
Because I was going to say, at a Dave Matthews show, none of those people are trying to hit him in the face. I mean,
no.
It's just an older, more respectful audience, I would think.
I would think so.
So I'm
too.
curious, what artist brought a shooting?
Okay, so it was a festival called Beyond Wonderland, which I'd have to look up, was happening at that time.
Yeah, I don't remember any. I'm like, it wasn't Kid Rock playing or something like that. It was a Gorge, which is pretty much, if you've been to the Gorge, it's a spiritual experience.
It's a younger skewing bands, I bet, though. Come on, who is it?
Well, no, so this is actually an EDM show.
Uh-huh.
Okay, but
damn EDMers.
You wouldn't think of a raver to do a shooting, though. That wouldn't be my first thought.
Yeah.
No, I mean
they're clubbers. They're younger. That's my point.
But they're tripping on acid or not acid. Probably
Molly
or something.
Yeah,
and that's like the love hug drug, not the I'm gonna pull my gun out and start shooting at people.
God, go back and listen to our old shows. I don't remember this when it happened or when I've listened to every show we've ever done. So
you've edited a program that maybe had this in it and you just got rid of it because you didn't like it.
I don't know.
Listen, dude. But going to the Gorge now for Dave. I was working on my travel trailer yesterday, getting all ready for stuff.
Yeah.
I'm worried, dude, and there's a lot of people. I'm in good company. I mean, people are worried about, like, what does the camping situation look like at the Gorge now? What are the new procedures? I guess they have up security, and they have sniffing dogs for drugs and weapens.
Oh,
if I get sniffed out for drugs, like, why do I go, dude?
That poor dog at a Dave Matthews concert?
Yeah, he's just going to be sitting. His hips are going to be ruined by the end of the line.
They kill that dog.
That was a puppy, dude. I mean, go on.
But that shooting happened, that weekend was June 17th and 18th, actually, was when the Wonderland Festival happened.
All right. Well, listen, on one level, that's the state of affairs. When I go to any public event nowadays, concerts, movies, whatever, I look for the exits. I always wonder, like, if I got to scatter, like, where are we going?
You have to, dude. I mean, you really seriously have to know where you are, be aware, like Brewski always says. If you see something, say something. I mean, you got to be telling your kids now that are going to be old enough to start going to concerts. It's crazy.
If you see something, run and then tell someone.
Yes. Steve, can we just go into your review of Woodstock 99?
Sure.
Would that be all right?
Need to know news. News you need to know.
I wonder if Brewski can add to that. Have you watched it yet?
I watched it not recently, but I watched it when it first came out.
Okay, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Nick assigned me homework to watch the Woodstock 99 documentary that's on Netflix nowadays, and Dottie and I got through all 3 episodes this weekend. I knew that whole thing was a catastrophe, but I had no idea the extent of the catastrophe. And I can't believe criminal charges were never filed against any of the concert promoters because they set that thing up to be a powder keg, beyond a powder keg. So I'm not at all surprised that it all exploded.
Yeah, and I mean, the way they were playing it down throughout the whole festival to the media and stuff like that, I can't believe they haven't been sued either. I guess it's not too late.
It was a Trumpian green light or gaslighting sort of effort to just be like, you see nothing bad here. The Jedi mind trick. There are no rapes. There are no riots. There are no fires. I mean, okay. I mean, where to even begin on that? First of all, having literally put on concerts before, one of my first concerns was we did a 90s festival in Tahoe, and it was going to start at like 4 in the afternoon, and the sun doesn't go down till like 8 o'clock at that time of the year. And I thought, gee, 4 hours of people being out in the sun, that could possibly be dangerous. We're talking... Yeah, we're talking 3 straight days at this Woodstock thing, and not just 4 hours. I mean, it was an all-day festival, and they're out on tarmacs with no shade of any kind.
Nope.
I mean, that was insane.
No water. I mean, or limited water.
They were charging out the nose for water, and they confiscated people's water going in, which is hilarious because you can only bring in so much. Obviously, it would be drank within the first couple hours, and they'd have to buy your water. So
yeah,
that was insane. The bands they had. I mean, listen, I love Korn, Limp Bizkit, Metallica, Rage Against the Machine, but that is not a Woodstock show. That is a hard rock metal festival that you were putting on. It was comical to have, Jewel mixed in there or Sheryl Crow mixed in there.
It felt so uncomfortable going out there. I mean, Jewel was like, I don't even know if I want to walk out on the stage. Like, one of these things is not like the other.
Right. And Jewel just got in her limo and left immediately. Sheryl Crow's being sexually harassed from the crowd. I mean...
Well, but the thing that I don't get is, yes, you said about the Hard Rock Heavy Metal Festival, but every year there's a 3-day metal festival in Germany called Wacken.
Yeah. And how many people go to it? Is it a 250,000 people? I mean, think about this. The biggest stadium we have in North America holds about 100,000 people. They had 250,000, 3 stadiums basically full of people. In an uncontrolled, I mean, no security, basically. It was kids in yellow T-shirts running around there, scorching in the sun. You're screwing them on money.
No place to sleep. Drugs everywhere.
So Wacken has 85,000 people.
Right. So triple that. I mean, that's where things get out of control.
But I think the Wacken people actually, because it's 3 days and you camp there. And
and I was going to say, what are the facilities like? Are they giving them food, water, shade, camping grounds that are not have garbage blowing everywhere?
Bathrooms.
That's the thing is the people in Wacken, they set up these camps. Like you get together with your friends and you set up your camp and they put up a flag and all that sort of thing. And
you treat people like animals, they're going to act like animals. And they set them up in a terrible environment there. And I know Fred Durst got a lot of flack for Limp Bizkit's set. And I will just say that he does deserve some flack because Limp Bizkit would have ignited that crowd regardless. They're hard rock, metalish, whatever you want to call them, bad. Give me something to breaking stuff. That is a song when I listen to, I want to go burn a building down.
Yeah. It's an FU to society. Let's.
So if they had just played that regardless, it would have set the crowd off. But for Fred Durst to be up there just, everyone who's been repressed and held down when this song kicks in, I want everyone to explode. Like, dude.
He made a conscious choice to be able to say, like, I'm not only going to play this, but I'm going to play this. You know what I mean?
Did you notice when he got off stage and Kurt Loder or whatever from MTV News interviewed him? One of the first things he said was, it's not my fault that just happened.
100%. That's not going to hold up in court, pal.
Of course he knew.
Dude, he had a piece of plywood ripped off a tower, crowd surfing on top of the crowd on a sheet of 4x8 plywood.
Now, let me just say one thing in his, somewhat defense, and Jonathan Davis made a comment, the singer from Korn.
Yes.
I have been on stage in front of large crowds, maybe even a few thousand people, and some people would be terrified by that notion. It gives me a Woody. I mean, the reciprocal energy when you're playing and they're sending the energy back, and who's here tonight? And everyone, that is more addictive than any drug, any sexual act you could ever find. So for Jonathan Davis, Fred Durst to walk out on stage and say something and see 250,000 people, like, I'm sure their hearts were racing. They were amped up. They were probably not in their total correct minds either.
Sure, dude. I agree with you 100%. I get chills from thinking when Korn came out onto that stage and there's 250,000 people and Korn kicked the concert off, And what's the song they kicked it off with, Harness?
Well, Are You Ready? I don't know what the name of the song is. Actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of our old theme songs. And what an anthem to start off their set with. Just,
yeah,
dude. I mean, and just to watch the wave. I mean,
dude, I've never seen a wave, a physical wave like I saw in that show with 250,000 people. The crowd moved like it looked visibly like 4 to 5 feet as it was like waving back and forth.
Right.
And yeah, I could see when he said that. That's like no drug I've ever done before.
Right. So I don't blame a Fred Durst or, any of these guys that just got caught in that moment of that energy. Let's get this crowd going. Like, they probably weren't thinking it all the way through. But
sure.
But yeah, when you book acts like that, it's going to be a testosterone-driven kind of show. And
yeah.
The women raped during the show, though.
Well, so that's
the women
other
touched. I mean, when's the last time? Maybe that's what killed it. In 1999 Woodstock, we still saw plenty of girls up on shoulders with titties out. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And the crowd just molesting them. Like, I mean, it made you uncomfortable as a male to sit there and watch that and be like, dude, what are you doing? You're raping her.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we talked about this once on the show where there was a whole era of concerts in the 80s and into the 90s where girls flashing was the thing and the crowd would go crazy. And, I had said that Motley Crue played a show in Vegas last year and a woman I went on a coffee date with had seen it. And she's like, the Motley Crue guys are calling on women to flash their tits and they're putting them on the big screen. And they don't seem to realize their audience is now 40s and 50s and we have kids here and like read the room basically.
Right.
And I think that at the end of the 90s there with that testosterone male driven thing, they were still thinking that it was that acceptable era, but mixed in with this misogyny. And so, yeah, thousands of women getting molested in the crowd, but then multiple actual full on rapes happening.
Yeah.
And the most disgusting effing thing in that documentary is when the main promoter, who was just denying everything, said, well, listen, Woodstock, we had 250,000 people. It was its own little city. So statistically speaking, sure, people are going to get raped.
A lot of little things happen. Who's to say?
Oh, my God.
Like, wow.
I wanted to punch that man in the throat. I mean, so first of all, if statistically speaking, 200,000 has 4 rapes, that means 50,000 has 1 rape. So every concert, every sporting event, every stadium you've ever gone to, apparently just 1 rape happens per event.
And that's just status quo. Like that's, I mean, if we get away with just 1 out of 50,000, like it's going to happen.
Oh, so disgusting. And that's why I say I kept waiting for the end of that documentary to be like, and then criminal charges were filed against.
Here he is being let out of the courtroom in handcuffs.
And, speaking of the powder keg, I mean, to amp that audience up, 3 days of torturing them, abusing them, all of this, and everyone was expecting the big finale that never happened. But then you hand out 100,000 candles, portable flames you give to this crowd, and you didn't think that people would start lighting stuff on fire?
Yeah. Your city burned. I mean, they burned it down, dude.
Right.
If you haven't seen Woodstock 99 on Netflix, it's definitely worth a watch because just like you guys both said, I knew some things went down there, but I had no gravity of the immense amount of things happening at that show.
Yes. And I couldn't tell, like, when they started asking people at the end, like, hey, if there's another Woodstock, would you go? And they showed all these people, like, hell yeah, man. Like, it was crazy, but it was anarchy. It's the most fun I've ever had. Like, I dare you to go ask those 4 women how you want to go back to Woodstock again. Didn't put them in the documentary, did you?
Yeah. Hey, dude, do you remember the old lady that was at the first Woodstock? She was the executive's mother.
No, I don't.
She went around and asked people, here's trash bags, pick up the trash. That old
I thought, Woodstock. That was Woodstock 99, not the first one.
Yeah. She was at the first one.
Oh, I see.
And she was hoping for that spiritual concept of
she starts handing out trash bags.
And she was at Max Yazga's farm.
Yeah, and she's like, this was not my generation. Like, we were all about peace, love, earth, Well, like, this is not where I came from.
They needed some mushrooms and some acid for those people at Woodstock 99. That would have mellowed them out, relaxed them a little bit, or at least some bad trips.
Plenty of drugs going on and having all-night raves. That's a great idea as well. But But and did the original Woodstock cost a few $100 to get into? Probably not.
No.
Were they charging through the nose for food and water? And I know they said they farmed out the sanitation, but on day number 2, when you saw it, you better either call that company and tell them to get down there or throw more money at them. Like, it was just
the shortage, dude. The staff shortage is what they blamed that on. I mean, there was sewer water outside all of these outhouses that, drinking water, and I say that with air quotes because it was coming out like brown. It just made a big poo lake.
Yes.
And people were swimming in it.
Literally swimming in it, bathing in it, playing in it. And that one woman that's like, I got trench mouth. I had ulcers and sores in my lips. Because you were drinking poo water. So.
Wait a minute, are you sure she wasn't using Ed G's bong?
Right.
Yeah,
exactly. So no, it's worth the watch. So yeah, recommend it.
Well, by the way, in case you're curious,
the
original Woodstock, August 15th through 17th, 1969.
Yeah.
The cost to get into that show,
$10.
$8.
$8. Right.
$8 a day. So the whole if you went for all 3 days, it's $24.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, back then I'm sure was a lot of money. But then you look at that lineup and you're like,
oh yeah,
would you pay $24 to see all those acts in that prime right there?
Well, sure.
Yeah, of course.
There's a great clip floating around of Nirvana being interviewed in the early 90s where they're like, Madonna's charging $50 for a concert ticket?
Yeah,
we charge $18. Who the hell charges $50? Nowadays, you'd be lucky to only pay $50 for a concert ticket. So
yeah, that's
that whole
a
industry
casino
definitely got
concert.
under control. But yeah, so check out the documentary for sure.
All right.
Wrap it up.
Anything else, gentlemen, before we take off? You want to say you love anyone or anything like that?
I love everyone.
How let's get a depression scale of 1 to 10. How depressed are you right now?
The show always perks me up, so I'm doing fine. Thank you.
All right, Brewski.
I'm doing all right. I'm hoping Steve is too. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a swinger. I don't mean with other couples. I just mean a rope in my shower.
Yeah,
you know,
even if I don't take it out and play with it, I still like seeing it. So
yeah, we know.
That's what I do with my noose every night. I just take it out and play with it.
All right, Brewski, say goodbye.
Goodbye, Brewski.
Test 1 2, test 1 2.
Stop.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is The Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve.
Nick Reynolds, Steve Harness, and Cousin Brewski. The Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve.
And we say bye-bye.